This is Kevin coming from the deep south. Uh, Pretty muggy, just got done raining here, so it's pretty nice and toasty and very hot and wet. Uh, Great if you've got a dirty mind, but terrible if you're in the south. Um, Conversation I was looking to get started was watching the news, see YouTube videos, people prepping for shit hitting the fan, end of the world as we know it kind of thing. Um, but it kind of seemed like that we are kind of in the middle of it right now. We just don't know it. And what I'm saying is you've got uh, people that I'm aware of, and you see other videos and stuff like that talking about the economy, and you look at the news and how things have gotten so tough for people. But it seems like that we're kind of in the middle of this right now. It may not have hit you yet, but I know people that are struggling to get by right now, and you know, this has nothing to do with an EMP, or it doesn't have anything to do with some natural disaster or anything like that. It's just that life has just gotten to the point where nobody seems to be able to afford to live. And people, to a certain extent, are they're selling off their prepping supplies. They've sold off maybe guns or ammo or even food stuff or water or even medication just so they can make ends meet. And the people I know that are trying to sell stuff are having a hard time selling stuff because nobody's got the money to buy it from them. And so it's kind of one of those things that people have been maybe even using their food, their food supplies or their medical supplies because they can't afford to go get stuff now. Classic example: went to a big box store. Won't mention who it is. Rhymes and Mart. But go in there and get some food, and I think we got about 70, $80 worth of food. No, it was $120 for food. I about fell out, and I was not expecting that. And now you go out to a restaurant to eat, which I maybe do once or twice in a month if I'm lucky. Um, but you go out to a restaurant to eat, what would it cost you? Oh, here's the thunder. We got more rain coming. But what we used to cost, say, $12 for two people to eat. Hell, it's over $20, sometimes $30 for two people to eat. What just a few years ago just cost very little. And I've talked to friends, and I've heard people talk about EMPs and pandemics. Well, we had a pandemic, and it has definitely still to this day turned everything on its head, and people are still trying to struggle to get by because things change so much and so fast that people haven't been able to adapt to what's going on. And that adaptation goes to corporations and companies and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people have walked away from that because their paychecks weren't keeping up with inflation. And so again, like I said, while they're walking away from their jobs and trying to find some other way to make money, in the process, some of these people are actually having to sell off their preps and just to make ends meet or just to try to be able to put food on the table. And there's a lot of people that I'm familiar with that are they're just a few house payments away from maybe getting kicked out of their house or getting kicked out of their apartment. But anyway, just food for thought. Some start a conversation to see if we are actually in the middle of a shit hits the fan scenario right now, or if this is just a sign of things to come, or is it a combination of things? Who knows? But anyway, just some food for thought, and like to hear what other people are thinking about this as well. But just some things I saw that just going on right now with the news and the economy and whatnot that just seem a little off. It causing a lot of problems that I think that we're not really realizing how bad off and how close we are to the edge of that cliff, if we haven't already jumped off the edge of that cliff, where we're at right now. Anyway, you have a good day, and I'd like to hear the comments.